Welcome guys and girls to Nazareto's channel. In this episode we got 2019 Ford Fusion. It's titanium model, it's a hybrid, and we're going to be working on the front brakes here. So this is our Ford Fusion, and we're going to be changing the pads over here in the front and the rotors in the front. Promise to make the video short. The thing we're going to do, we have to apply the emergency brake, which is right there, the electronic one. Next step, after we have emergency brake on, we have to lift the vehicle, and I'm using my XLS 3000 very strong, powerful jack, and we're going to lift the car on the frame here. To raise the car with a jack, we have a stand. Make sure it's properly raised and it's sitting. There's like a metal piece supposed to sit on that. This monster, the beast Milwaukee tool to remove the lug nuts. One, two. I just remove the wheel, set it on the side, or put it under the car. The steering wheel to the left, so it'll be easier to reach these bolts, and we're gonna unscrew this caliper bracket. There's a bolt here and the bottom. We need to remove this cap on the top, this one, and the one on the bottom. There's this one. And when you look inside, you will need this kind of tool, like an Allen. So let's grab our right tool. But don't lose these caps. See? To remove this bolt that holds the whole caliper, you need this kind of tool. And it's size 7, as you see here. It fits perfectly in, and we can unscrew this top bolt and then move down to the lower one. So this is how it looks like, size 7, and I have the whole set of these. They're like Allen hex. Okay, so install the tool, and it's loose. This is not supposed to be super tight. Now let's loosen the bottom one. And it's loose, and it's not supposed to be tight, only 30 foot-pound. And let's undo these bolts. Now you have to just swing this caliper bracket up, and you just remove the pads. You just pretty much slide out, and that's it. And we have left was this bracket, so we have to remove this bracket. There are these big bolts right here, one on the top here and one on the top here, and we have to get the appropriate size tool for that. To remove this bracket, I got my beast tool here. Super easy. This thing took me like 2 seconds to remove this bolt without any struggle. Let's do the same on the top. See, 2 seconds to remove this bolt, and now this bracket is free to go. Bracket, we're gonna clean these channels right here. Take a wire brush and start cleaning it all off. Make sure they're nice and shiny. Clean this bracket as much as you can with a wire brush. Make sure there's no debris, and then we're gonna, so the brakes won't squeal. So before we remove this rotor, make sure this caliper bracket is out of the way. I use some zip ties so it's hanging like this, and there's no tension on this brake hose. So we're gonna be removing this rotor. We're gonna be hammering on both sides. There's some rust here. You can put some penetrating oil before you do this, but I think it should be fine. On this rotor, as you see, there's like these grooves, so we're gonna put a new rotor. And I'm gonna spray some penetrating oil here. I don't want to advertise any product, but this is the penetrating oil. We're gonna spray like right around here. Just spray here, and that's all you need. Like, I don't want to advertise any penetrating oil name, but that's what it should say. That's what it should say, penetrating catalyst, penetrating oil. Just gonna let it sit for a few minutes, let it penetrate in there. I don't think we should have a problem with this rotor because this is not badly rusted in. For this next part, you need a nice hammer. First, start hammering here, like right here, to loosen some rust. As you see, rust is coming down, and then go on the back. All right, so first you hammer around here, a lot of rust gets loose, and then you start. See? It's off. Make sure you don't hit these bolts, because once you hit these bolts with the hammer and you damage them, it's kind of hard to replace them. But this is our rotor, and these are the part that I don't like, which is right here. Overall, it's not in a terrible shape. It's a pretty good rotor, but we're gonna replace it with a new one, and we're gonna have to brush this with a wire brush. Make sure it's nice and clean. We're gonna put some grease here so it doesn't get rusted like this. Let's get to it. This is our new brake rotor. We have to spray it with a brake part cleaner. There's some covering here, like a little oil. We have to remove that. Just spray it on both sides with a brake parts cleaner. That's good. That's more than enough. And let it dry before we install this. For wire brush, clean as much as you can. Clean it good. And especially here, because that's where the rotor is going to be sitting on. Clean it as much as we could. Now we're going to spray this part with a brake part cleaner to remove the rust. That's good. Let it dry or wipe it off. You can wipe it off, especially around here. I'm going to use this brake caliper grease. I'm just going to apply it around here. A little bit here, 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 and here. Just applying not too much, just like that. Dab, I call it a little bit of dab. And make sure it goes on here too. It will prevent from seizing up and no, not here, around here. Yeah. You have to put a lot, just a little bit. And then you can just take your finger and go around with your finger. That's good. That's more than enough. We got a new rotor, and we're just gonna install it just like that. Just like that. Now, as you see, there's this little hole for the screw. Ford doesn't have that. Let me show you the original rotor. This is our original rotor. It doesn't have that little hole here, like here. It doesn't have it, but that's okay. Like Honda and Toyota, they like to have this screw also holding the rotor into the hub, but Ford doesn't have it. Now we're gonna take this bracket and we're gonna install this bracket after all this is clean. It's already clean here. Let's do that. Give it more cleaning. The cleaner the parts, the better. But overall, it's in great condition. Take this bracket and reinstall it like so. Take this bolt, on the top, go by hand, but these bolts you have to torque them to 75 foot-pound. There. Going? Yeah, it's the other way. You unscrew it. Okay, there you go. Goes in. Here's another one. Start threading that one. So on this Milwaukee tool, I changed this power to 2. I don't want to over torque these bolts because we're going to verify the torque with the torque wrench. So let's secure these bolts. Hold on. And now we're going to use a torque wrench. This is our torque wrench. I'm gonna set it to 75 foot-pound. This is our foot-pound right here, and we're gonna go to 75. Okay, you can stop it. I set the torque wrench to 75 foot-pound. We're gonna go on this top bolt. Click. Same thing on the bottom. Good. So we properly torque these bolts, 75, 75 on this one. The bracket is solid. Now we're gonna cut this zip tie. We're gonna swing the caliper bracket down and push the piston in. Take this, swinging like this. Now what we have to do, I have to push this piston. I have to push this piston back, and we're going to install the new pads. Okay. So I put the old pad into place here, and I have this tool right here to push the piston back. We're just going to push it. I think this is it. Yeah. Whatever you do, guys, when you do this job, don't break this boot. Be careful not to tear it. And you see there's some rust here. I'm gonna try cleaning it off just a little bit. Okay, before you install the pads, it's a good idea to put either the grease over here a little bit, or in here in this part here, and here, just like, yeah, just like that. And then on the top. And if you do get your rotor dirty, make sure you clean it. Put one little bit over there, and on the top. Yep, you see it. Will prevent the brakes from squealing, and the pads will be moving easier. All right, cool. That's good. Okay, so now push this inner pad like this, and we're gonna take our front pad, which is right here. I'm gonna install it like so, and there you go. See, it's sitting. This is our front, and there's the back one. The back one, see what I'm doing? And now we're just gonna put the bracket over. Another good advice is you can put some grease here and here, so there's contact points, so the brakes won't be squealing, or it's up to you. But I usually do this. I put a little bit of grease here and here. All right, just a little bit, like this and like this. That's all you need. You can now we take the special hex tool, size 7, and we have to secure this top bolt so our bracket won't be moving. And the proper torque for this is 30 foot-pound. So let's go on the bottom one. You see? All right, cool. It's going. All right, cool. We'll torque it in a second. And then there's a bottom one. Screw it in. So we are securing this bottom bolt. And once we're done, we're gonna torque it properly and put the cap on. Make it tight enough on the top, on the bottom here. Now let's take our torque wrench, my smaller torque wrench, and we're gonna torque it to 30 foot-pound until it clicks. Did you hear click? Okay, you hear the click, good. Go on the bottom one. That's it. These bolts, they don't have to be super tight. If you break this bolt, you have to drill it out. It's a hard work. So 30 foot-pound, this bracket doesn't have to be like insanely tight. 30 foot-pound. And now we're gonna put a cap on here. Having these caps, plastic caps, done. And look at this beautiful new brakes. Look over everything. So these were like what, 70 foot-pound, one here, one at the bottom, nice and tight. These are 30 foot-pound. Everything's good. The rotor looks amazing. Now we're just gonna clean it and install the wheel. Before we install the wheel, we need to have this bracket also installed. This is our old one. Don't use the old one, use the new one that comes in the box already. So let's install it. Let's show you this bracket. So the way this one is installed, this metal piece goes inside the hole, this part goes in the outside, and then the bottom, you have to, a little bit of a struggle, but not that much. There, you see, that's how it's supposed to look. This part sits inside this hole, same as this one, and this bracket goes on the outside on this thing, and that's it. You're gonna hear a click. Now we're ready to install their wheel. Okay. I have my tool set to number 2. I don't want to over torque these bolts. And we're gonna so now I'm just gonna lower the car. We're gonna lower it and torque each bolt 95 to 100 foot-pound. Now lower the vehicle. All the way down. Set this big torque wrench to 90, set it to 100 foot-pound, and we're gonna torque each bolt. All right, so now we're gonna torque it and we're done. Click, go this one, star pattern. Good, now that one. That one. And the last. Good, 100 foot-pound, and we're done. We're done with installing brakes, and we're gonna do the same thing on the passenger side. It was very easy on this Ford model, and it looks so nice. New rotor, new brakes, everything torqued, everything greased. Beautiful. This is nice. We're gonna repeat exactly the same process on this passenger side, and I'm not gonna go through all of this because you already saw how it's done. Now we're going for a test drive. See how these new brakes and pads and rotors sound. Fail. So we're testing if the brakes fail or not, but so far it's smooth. Very nice. All right, start braking. Nice. It's very smooth, very quiet.
Service, this is Cassie. How may I help you?
Yeah, how much it would cost to replace front brakes and front rotors on the Ford Fusion 2019?
Your labor is going to be about $225. Let me send you over to parts, and they'll be able to give you a part.
$225 for each side, or just total $225?
For the whole axle.
Okay.
So let's say we're just doing rear brakes. It's going to be $225 for the rear brakes.
I'm talking about the front. I'm talking about the front.
Yep. So front then, if we're just doing front brakes, it's $225 for that axle.
For one side?
For one axle. So $225. If you're getting front brakes, your entire labor charge is going to be $225.
Okay. What about parts, rotors, and brakes?
Let me send you over to parts, and they'll be able to get you that total. Okay.
All right. Pause it. Sorry, how much for the rotors for this model? How much for each?
$100 each.
So $100 for each rotor, so that's be $200 plus $65 for the brake pads.
Right.
Mavis Tires, Mike's been not going to help you.
Hey, how much you would charge me for brakes and rotors on the Ford Fusion 2019?
You'd be looking right around roughly about a $4.25.
400 or 500?
$425, sir. No, $425 plus tax, sir.
That including brakes and rotors.
Yes, sir.
Okay, better than the dealer, that's for sure. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So I called it a dealership, Ford dealership. They told me about $490 plus tax to do the front brakes and the rotors. And I called some other place like Midas, and they told me $425 plus tax. So there you go, boys and girls. You know how to do the brakes. You know how to save the money. Thanks for watching my channel. See you in the next one. Click that link, subscribe, like, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.